I'm live. I'm live, apparently. My hair needs to be brushed really badly. I have a brush here. It's a bit unprofessional, but my hair needs to be brushed. I'm live, apparently. I'm live. Can anyone hear me? Can anyone see me? Please confirm for me. Can anyone hear me? Can anyone see me? We are live. Just waiting for people to jump in. We definitely had some technical issues today. My hair is looking a little bit of a mess, but that does not change the fact that I've got some great information to give you today. Let me see if I can turn the brightness up. Oh, something popped up on the screen. Okay. Cool. Yep, we definitely had some technical difficulties today. I can see the chat though, so if you're there, just type in the chat for me, and let's really get going. I want to see who's in here. I want to know where you're tuning in from. I want to know if you're excited. I want to know how your day's been. Give me some information. Oh, I can see Dennis there. A squared. I know who that is. Is that Adrian? Adrian, how you doing? Good to have you all here. I appreciate you all. Sorry that my hair is looking a little bit of a mess. I think when I just threw a hoodie over my head, threw a hoodie off my head, my hair just messed up a little bit. I see Tosin. Hey, I see people. Amazing, amazing. Okay, cool. Guys, if you are in Wealth Nation, do me a favor and let the chat, let the people in the business know that we are live. Okay. I guess I'm supposed to be looking up here. Let the people in the business know that we are live. Okay, I've got the chat on the right of me. I've got my notes below me. I've got you virtually in front of me. So if you see me looking around, it's because I'm just trying to get my bearings a little bit as well. So again, send some messages in CEO Club chat. Let people know that we are live. I see that. Thank you very much, Adrian. I see that. Hey, Isakin, how you doing? Hey, Sam, how you doing? Let's get into this. So today's topic is called Cultivating the Mind. Okay. I don't want people to miss out. So I'm going to give a couple minutes before we really delve into some of the things. Today's topic is called Cultivating the Mind. I want to give you some keys, some principles, some things that are going to help you going forward realize that success is down to you and not necessarily down to your external environment. Okay. Dennis, I'm supposed to be looking at the webcam right in the top of the camera, right?
Yes, sir.
That's how. Okay, cool. That's how I look at people. That one. Okay, cool. Just making sure. Cool. So in order for us to be successful in anything at all in this world, it requires some self-awareness. And being self-aware looks like many things. And today we're going to focus on what's going on inside your head. Okay. Now, many of you may have felt like 2020 has been a year that has beaten you up. It's Mike Tyson in the ring and it's delivered a serious uppercut and you felt like you've been knocked out on the floor and the referee is counting, to 10 to end the fight. We're in the last month now, and I think people are very tired and are very excited to have a new year where it feels like things are fresh and can hopefully go back to some sense of normalcy. But I just want to let you know that I don't think that's going to happen. Okay. I actually don't think that at the end of 2020, moving in, when it hits January 1st on 2021, that you are all of a sudden going to be able to go back to lives as you knew it on January 1st, 2020. Before there was lockdown, before COVID was rampant. I don't think you will be able to live life like you used to. And what does that mean? Those of you that are waiting for 2021 to say, okay, I'm going to get back on track. I believe 2021 is going to have its own series of interesting events. I believe that 2021 is going to have its own uncertainties. its own things that are unpredictable, its own things that we will not be able to fully prepare for. So if you're expecting to, oh, Haley, I see you. If you're expecting to on January 1st, 2021, to go back to some kind of normal life, okay, where you could gather in massive numbers and do all these things that you used to do, you have to recognize that this year the world changed, and it's changed for a long period of time. Okay? That is not to scare you. Okay, that is not to throw your hope out the window and think that, okay, I've been beaten up this year by 2020, so 2021 is going to continue to beat me up. No, listen, it doesn't have to be that way. There are many people that, even though there was so much uncertainty this year in 2020, they came out making more money than they ever had, having better relationships than they ever had, you know, having greater friendships than they ever had, so many different things, and being more of a success than they were before, because of something called the mind. And as far as I'm concerned, as long as you have your mind, you have everything you need to be successful. Your mind, I see it as the foundations of a house that holds it steady. Your mind, I see it as the deep roots of a tree that hold it in place when the wind starts to blow. Your mind, I see it as an anchor that holds a boat at the shore, that when the waves start to go crazy, when the waters are moving at incredible pace, okay, the anchor is what holds the boat in place and prevents it from going off into the wrong directions. Okay, that is how I see the mind. And before we go any further, I just want to tell you a little bit about me. My name is Sterling Record. For those of you that don't know me, I feel like the majority of you do. But even if there's one person on here who doesn't, I just want to give you a little bit I just want to give you a little bit of information about Wealth Nation and about me, so it kind of puts things into a bit of context as to why I am even here sharing with you today. You may be thinking, who in the world is this guy that's telling me about the mind and anchors and roots and all these different things? Well, look, listen, my name is Sterling Record and I'm a senior director in Wealth Nation. Okay, I joined this business in May 2019, nowhere near in the situation I was today. I was living in a room, not a house. I was renting a room that was actually filled with mold. Okay. I never let anyone in there because I was embarrassed of it. I was developing health conditions in my lungs because of the quality of life that the room was providing. I was often going to bed coughing, wheezing, or even staying outside in hotel lobbies all throughout the night, just so that I could avoid being in my room through the night so I wouldn't ruin my lungs. I was someone who was hungry and desperate for success, but it just seemed like my life at the time did not reflect the person I knew that I was supposed to be. It just seemed like my life at the time was completely contrary to the man that was in my head. I felt like I was working all the time. I felt like I was doing everything I could to make finances, but I always seemed like I had to borrow to finish the month. And it wasn't even that I was buying anything ridiculous or extremely expensive. I just didn't have a lot of money. The reason I had to live in that type of environment was because I did not have money to be anywhere else. But thankfully, in May 2019, a bit before that, I met the CEO of this business, the man you normally see on this YouTube channel, Toby Ryami. Okay, he's in Dubai right now, probably on a yacht somewhere, enjoying his life, or having some dinner in some five-star hotel. So I've taken over for him today. But back then, this man invited me into his home. He saw the state of my life at the time, and honestly, he took me in. And I think him and his family took a lot of pity on me, if I'm being completely honest. And I know I've heard it said before by his wife that she didn't know I would have a decent meal unless I went to their house. But they looked after me. They cared for me. And while I was in the house, there was various times where, you know, they would make food. Before we're eating the food, I see him analyzing a chart. Okay. Then by the time I finished eating, he would show me his phone, and he would show me that he was thousands of pounds in profit by the time I had finished eating a meal. And I started to think to myself, how is this man doing this? But I thought maybe it was just for the special few, for the special people. But I kept seeing it repeatedly. It wasn't a one-off. I would see it. So I would be in the house literally every single day, and I would see it most days that he was in profit while I was eating. By the time I finished eating some jollof rice, this guy had made 1,000 or 2,000, 3,000 pounds. And I thought for a long time it was just for the special few, but he gave me an opportunity in May 2019 to learn more about what he does, how he does it, and really helped me to hone in that skill. Okay. And I can say now that I do what he used to do then. Okay. There's been times I've woken up in the morning and made serious profit because of the teaching and the lessons he taught me in May 2019. And my life is in a completely different place now. So whenever Wealth Nation, needs something, I consider myself like a global brand ambassador. I'm there for Wealth Nation, unless, of course, I have commitments to my amazing girlfriend, soon fiance, soon wife, all that stuff. Wink, wink. Anyways, so moving on, cultivating the mind. Now you know a little bit about me, and you know how I've kind of ended up sitting in this seat. I want to talk to you about some of the mindsets I've had to develop and continue to develop to continue to progress over my course in Wealth Nation. Okay. And in life in general. This is not like something you just learn for a season and you forget. The things I'm going to give you today, I believe you'll be able to go back to this, and I believe you'll be able to use these principles to protect yourself from the unpredictable nature of the times we are going into. Many people are predicting economic crisis. Many people are predicting a new COVID, no longer COVID-19, COVID-20, or COVID this or COVID that. Many people are predicting some new kind of COVID and all these different types of things. We're going into a time of a very unpredictable nature. But there are a few things we can keep consistent, can keep predictable, and that is the condition of our mind. Okay. So first things first. I want you to think of your life, or I want you to picture this. If you're listening to this right now, I actually want you to do me a favor. I want you to hear what I'm saying, but I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to picture a farmer in a big open field, a big open place of soil. Okay. This farmer, he owns this soil. He owns it. He gets to choose what goes there. And the farmer, like any other farmer, wants to be a success and wants to make profit. He wants to put something in the ground that will one day be of value to not just himself in terms of monetary value and food, but also of value to the rest, to the people that buy it and eat it and use it. Okay. He plants seeds, but when he plants seeds, he or she needs to nourish. Just picture it with me. He or she needs to provide nourishment to those seeds. They need to provide water. They need to provide sunlight. They need to protect those seeds from pests externally. They need to ensure they can do anything that they can to protect the seeds that they are planting in order to get the harvest from the ground that they want. And I want you to see your mind in this way. I want you to see the mind as your soil, okay? And every seed that you plant is a different thing you're expecting to get out of life. Okay, so if you choose to plant, if you say, I want a healthy relationship with my girlfriend, I want to have a successful marriage, I want to be a successful business person, I want to make £1 million in the next 12 months. I want to go on holiday 3 times this year. I want to get out of depression. I want to find a new job. Okay. Even as you're listening to me, I would love if you guys could flood some things in the chat right now that would be considered seeds. What are seeds? What are seeds that you are planting in the soil for you? I know one for me is I'm looking to up my income significantly in the month of December so that I can hit my income goals. So I can move towards my income goals for 2021. I'm looking to build, one of the seeds I'm planting is I'm looking to build better relationships with my mom, my dad, and my immediate family. Those are seeds that I'm looking to plant. In the chat, just drop some stuff of your own personal life. I don't know how long the YouTube delay is, so I don't even know when you're going to hear what I'm saying. But whenever you hear what I'm saying, just drop some ideas in the chat as well, of what would be seeds in your life. But those are various seeds in my life. You know, I want to be in a place where I am helping other people, and I want to be in a more giving place where I'm giving so much more than I am. I want to be in a place where I actually do more things and share more like this, in more instances like this. You know, these are different seeds, okay? Seeds represent the different things you want out of life. You know, it's very important to remember this thing. You may be thinking, okay, so why would the soil be the mind, and why would the seeds be different things that are going on in life? Someone said, I want to launch an online shop in January. Somebody else said, surround myself with more open. Let me move this microphone out of the way so I can see you. I'm assuming you can all hear me extremely well. Someone said, surround myself with more open-minded people. I want to launch an online shop in January. This stuff is amazing. Keep the stuff coming. I'll be reading them out as I go along. But these are different seeds that represent success that you want to get. And you may be asking, look, why is the mind the soil? And listen, I just want to point something out to you. I'm sure you've all seen it on TV, on Instagram, on social media, different things like that. People I've seen people online who are deaf and who have been successful. I've seen people who are blind and have become successful. I see people with no hands, okay, who become successful, no feet who become successful, no legs who become successful, no arms become successful, no nose, no mouth, no teeth, no hair, no ears, no, no no toes, like all these different things. And these individuals still find a way to become successful. Why? Because they have their mind. Okay, they have their mind. Think about Stephen Hawking's, okay, the man who was in a wheelchair, who could not talk. He had to use a robot to be able to speak. Okay, he had to use a machine and press little buttons to be able to communicate what he was even thinking. But the fact this man's mind was sought after. Okay, his mind was sought after, even though he was in a wheelchair, even though he was, even though he was in a situation once he couldn't even talk, but his mind allowed him to be a success. Think about this stuff. Think about it. Okay. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about all those other things. As long as you have your mind, you have everything you need to be a success. I'm going to say that again. As long as you have your mind, you have everything you need to be a success. I've seen before a woman that had no arms on the internet, and she was using her feet like they were hands to make food, to do this, to do that. You got to bear in mind that your mind sends signals to the rest of your body. Okay, your mind, your brain is what is controlling every movement, every decision, every decision that you make. Okay, I remember a story of Lewis Howes. He's the man that created a podcast called The School of Greatness. Okay, this man was an athlete at one point in his life. I can't remember what sport he played, but just for the sake of it, let's say he played American football. Okay, and he spent his whole life studying to be a pro. Let's say it was a quarterback, training to be a quarterback. Okay. And then he went through a massive injury, and he could no longer play sports. He was out of the game for a year or 2 years and had to recover from this injury. And all of his opportunities that he had been training for his whole life were taken from him in that moment. Okay. But he still had his mind. Even though he spent his whole life training to that point for one thing, and that thing was taken away from him, even though it seemed like everything was taken away from him, he still had the one thing left he needed, and that was his mind. Okay. And so what did he do? He was lying on his sister's sofa because he did not have anywhere else to go and he did not have any money. And he saw this application called LinkedIn. He learned how to use LinkedIn and started paying to teach people how to use LinkedIn, and became a networking guy for LinkedIn people. Okay, and started paying people to come to his LinkedIn events. People started paying, and he started making huge amounts of money. And I believe out of that, he started to meet some amazing people, started to interview them, and then started his podcast called School of Greatness. As long as you have your mind, there is endless opportunity for success. I'm going to say it again, as long as you have your mind, it doesn't matter if something goes wrong that you've been preparing for 10 years. As long as you have your mind, you have everything you need. Let me check chat. So sign on more international clients. Yes, do that. Do that. Bring that money in. No, I'm joking. Do that. Build a better future for my kids when I had them myself. Yes, that is important. I want to become financially free. Yes. Dennis said, as long as you have your mind. Yes, sir. I think, therefore I am. Yes, that is the core of the message I'm really giving you guys today. By the way, we're only going to be here for an hour roughly. So by 9, I'm going to be out of your way. I haven't even got into the details of anything. I've just kind of given you my premise so far. But now I want to start giving you a few different things and a few different illustrations from my own life personally that I believe are extremely important. I believe are extremely important for you when it comes to cultivating your mind, cultivating the mindset of a winner, cultivating the mindset of a successful person, cultivating the mindset you need in unpredictable times. And the first point I'm going to give you is one that we all know but often neglect, and that is gratitude. I believe that the one who is grateful sets themselves up for more blessings or more good things to come their way. I actually believe that the person who thinks about what's going wrong more than what's gone right attracts more of what's gone wrong instead of more of what's going right. I'm going to say that again. The person who spends their time thinking about what's gone wrong instead of what's going right attracts more of what's going wrong instead of what's going right. Okay? I actually believe what you put your focus on is amplified. Okay, just like a magnifying glass. Okay, I can look at a book, I can look at notes, okay? But when I add a magnifying glass, it allows me to see in much more detail. It allows me to see much bigger and a wider scale. And I believe that's exactly what gratitude does. Gratitude puts our focus in the right place, you know? Many people recommend getting a gratitude journal, and that looks like writing down in the morning 3 things you're grateful for. You know, what are you grateful for this morning? What are you grateful for this week? What are you grateful for in the last hour? And becoming a person who who is consistently looking for things to be grateful for. Okay, it's very easy in the world right now to find things not to be grateful for. I mean, if you're in the United Kingdom like I am, we just spent a whole month in lockdown. Okay, you could have been very upset that you couldn't go to restaurants. You could have been very upset. You guys out there that love the gym, I don't like the gym that much myself. But for those of you that love the gym, you could have been very upset that you couldn't go to the gym. Okay? Very upset. For those of you out there that wanted to see your friends, okay, and you couldn't, you could have been very upset. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of negative things that are very easy to focus on. And you find that when you get in groups of people, you know, majority of the time somebody's complaining, and it's almost like their complaining is contagious. And as soon as somebody lets a complaint out into the air, the next person catches it. Maybe that's the real virus that's going around, and somebody catches it and they pass it on to the next person. And it's almost like a competition to see who's had the worst day. It's almost like a competition to see who's having the worst week or the worst month. You know, one person says, oh, my car didn't start this morning. The other person says, what, your car didn't start this morning? I've been having that problem for a week. Next person says, hey, my car's packed in completely. I had to buy a new car the other day, and I had to take out my savings to buy a new car. Now I don't have money to put the deposit down on the house that I want to get. Next person says, what, you don't have money to put the deposit down? I don't even have money to save anything. I live by ends meet. Okay, I can't save a penny even if I tried, because I just don't have the money to. The other person says, well, at least you have a job. I don't have a job. And it just goes around, and everybody's talking about what's wrong in their life, like it's a virus. Somebody said, so true, negativity is contagious. It really is. And we have to be intentional about the fact that we are not going to be ones. We are going to break the chain, okay? So instead of letting the negativity come to you and being someone who passes it on, it's going to stop at you. It's going to stop at you. And you're going to decide, okay, no, I hear what you're saying. That may be your thing, but I'm grateful I woke up this morning. I hear what you're saying about your car, but you know what? I'm grateful that I have legs to walk. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. You're going to find something in that moment when the room is buzzing with negativity. You're going to find something in that moment to be grateful for. Okay? Gratitude is a must. Absolutely. Gratitude is a must. Shout out to Coffee for that one. But you're going to find something to be grateful for. That's my first point. Now, if you're somebody now, I'm sure there's some of you here that know yourselves to be complainers. Maybe you wouldn't say it out to other people, but you know deep down on the inside of yourself, you're a bit of a complainer, okay? I'm going to tell you something right now. I'll be very real with you. When I'm in times of when I've been in times where I've been complaining a lot in my life, those have been my least fruitful times of my life, because just as I said, your focus is amplified. If you focus on what you can't do or what didn't go right, it becomes so big in your eyes that you can't even see the opportunities to your right or to your left. You can't even see the opportunity that's right over there, because your focus is on things you're complaining about, and it's blocking your vision from even being able to see. So in a time of uncertainty, in a time where we don't know what could come around the corner, if you are focused on what's wrong, you'll miss the opportunity. If you're focused on what's wrong now, you will miss the opportunity of then, okay? If you're focused on what's wrong yesterday, or what went wrong yesterday, you will miss the opportunities of today. Let me say that again, because I said that a bit weird. Something just popped up on my screen. Give me a second to close that. Okay, it's not closing. So I'm just gonna assume that I can keep going, and I just can't see myself. So no worries. So I'm gonna say that again. If you focus on the complaints or the problems of yesterday, you will not be able to see the opportunities of today. I'm going to say it again. If you focus on the complaints or the problems of yesterday, you're not going to be able to see, thank you, Dennis, the opportunities of today. Yeah? So that's my first point. And we spent a long time on that point, but do you know what? We'll probably spend a long time on every point, because I'm trying to make these things as practical as possible. Do you know what? Yeah, no more complaining. Forget the complaining. Forget the complaining. It's a very simple point. I feel like it's something everyone's heard before. But the question really becomes, what did you do about what you heard? As soon as you hear information, you become accountable for what you heard. You're not somebody who doesn't know anymore. You can't say, well, I didn't know that. If somebody tells me I need to be somewhere at 6 p.m., then if I'm late, that's on me. But if they tell me 7 p.m. and it's really 6 p.m. and I get there at 7, then that's on them. But now that you know this information, you have a responsibility to do something with it. You have a responsibility to allow it to become a part of you. And I'm going to try and keep the points as simple as I can. So this can be information that each of you can come back to at different points in your life. Okay. I want longevity on this. Can come back to at different points in your life and actually use this to make sure your mind is set on track. So first point, forget the complaining. If you're still complaining about what's happened yesterday, you're still irritated about what happened yesterday, it's going to take your focus and you're going to miss what's happening today. Okay. Point number 1, done. Stop complaining, people. We need to get out of that habit. Be the one that breaks the chain. Now, my next point, I think is really important. I think it's really important that in this time we remember. Interesting. I think it's really important that we remember what's important. And I felt like there was 3 different categories I should break this down into in terms of life and in terms of what you should remember. Now, bear in mind that a big part of your mind is your memory. If you have a bad experience 10 years ago, that created trauma in your life, your mind is replaying that sometimes. If somebody betrayed you, when you meet a new person, you're making a friend or you get into a relationship and you were cheated on or something like that, your mind starts to replay those old things, okay, to try and trigger the trauma or the things that you experienced in the past, so it affects where you are right now. But I want you to counteract that with some of the things I'm going to give you now that you need to have your memory on, that you need to remember going forward in these uncertain, unpredictable times. Okay. And the first one of that is, I need you to remember who you are. I need you to remember your standards. And I'm going to give you a few illustrations and stories from my own life. I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable with you all, so that I can really help to paint this picture for you. Okay. The first one is this. Okay. So obviously I said before, I used to live in a room that had all the mold, etc., etc., etc. So obviously I started to do better in Wealth Nation, got a bit more money. Me and my friend Dennis moved into this beautiful 2-bed apartment, okay, in Windsor. Great place, nice open plan kitchen, looks nice, felt good. You know what I mean? Before, I had a room that I couldn't speak in after 10 p.m., right? Literally, I'll get knocks on my door, I'll get complaints. I'll be thinking I'm getting evicted because I talked at 10:01. Anyways, so I come here, I'm screaming loud at midnight. I'm screaming because I've got freedom. I've got a new level of freedom. Like, I'm just screaming. Well, to be honest, at first, it was a bit weird, but then I got used to it. And now I'm just screaming at any time of the night. But anyways, that's not even the point I'm trying to go down. The point is, in the kitchen, an open plan kitchen, right? There's a wine rack, okay? Now, bear in mind, I don't really drink, okay? I never, in fact, I will have one glass of something when I'm out at like a celebration of some kind, and that's about it. I have no desire to drink whatsoever. That's just me. That's just how I am. It's not something I do for fun. It's not something I do to medicate. It's not something I do for anything. That's a standard that I just have in my life, and I've always kept it, right? So now obviously there's a wine rack in my house. So I'm like, I can't leave this wine rack empty. It's a wine rack. I got this new place. I need to fill it with stuff. So some people had given me certain different things like drinks and stuff. I put some in there, but there was one space left. So I was like, I need something for this space. I'm in Tesco one time, And so I just picked up a random bottle of wine. I said, "Oh, the packaging looks cool. This looks cool." So I pick up some wine, right? I pick up some wine, and get it from Tesco, bring it, and I'll put it in my wine rack. I'm like, yes, my wine rack is now full. Yes, my wine rack is fantastic. Okay, it's full. It's overflowing. You know, I'm not gonna drink the wine, but the wine rack is full. So it doesn't matter what anyone has to say. If they come to the house, the wine rack is not empty. It will look nice and cool with the wine in there. Anyways, you can ask Dennis. This is real. I did this. I did this. The wine is there. But now, one thing I found is that in the darker times of my life, since I've lived in this house, when I'm going through, maybe sometimes when I've gone through financial struggles, or times when I've gone through just personal battles, right? And in my mind, I think to myself, what do other people do when they're going through struggles like this? They drink alcohol, right? Like it soothes the pain or something like that. So I think to myself, do you know what? Maybe I should just pop open. I've gone in my kitchen sometimes late at night. Dennis probably doesn't even know this. I've gone in the kitchen sometimes late at night, and I've just looked at the wine bottle and I've said to myself, you know what? Maybe I should just pop that thing open. You know, when you just you're having a hard week. You're having a hard week. Maybe I should just pop that thing open. I don't even know what's gonna happen if I drink this, but let me just. I've never been drunk in my life. Just to put it out there into perspective, I've never been drunk in my life. I've never probably drank more than one glass of anything on any given day. Okay, so I don't even know, but when I'm going through the various hard times, I'll be lying if I said I hadn't looked at that wine bottle and just thought, you know what, let's just drink it, and just so I can forget. The people say that you forget what's going on right now. I want to forget what's going on today, so why don't I just take a sip of whatever this thing is, okay? But then I say to myself, Sterling, remember who you are. Remember the standard that you've kept from young. You don't use this to medicate. That's not your thing. If they do that, that's them. Remember your standards, okay? I'm a man of faith, okay? When things are going wrong in my life, Dennis might even hear me sometimes. I lock myself in my bathroom and I pray until something sorts itself out. That's my strategy. If you want to know my winning strategy, that's what I do. Okay? That's all I do. Because I believe anything that I can't sort out myself, God's gonna have to sort out for me. So that's my winning strategy. But the wine is tempting. The idea of forgetting your struggles for a night and lowering your standards, pretending to be someone that you're not, is very, very tempting. And in times of uncertainty, in times when things are unpredictable, one moment your life could be looking high, and then suddenly, you know, someone in here, maybe you got a promotion at work, and then COVID came, and then you lost your job, and all of a sudden you thought you were on top of the world. Okay, you just got that promotion you've been waiting for time, for a good long time. You just got that promotion. Then all of a sudden, lockdown comes, your company's made redundant, and now you've got no income. You're on furlough. And in those types of moments, that little bit of wine looks a lot more appealing than it did when you were at the top. Okay, but you have to remember your standards. You have to remember who you are, and not allow this world and the external things that are going on to dictate how you're going to behave internally. Okay, do not allow the external things to affect you internally. What does that mean? Look, and if you guys all will know different attributes of yourself, right? You must do. You live with yourself your whole life. So even as I'm talking, just write in the chat some standards you hold yourself, some positive attributes you have that you want to uphold. Okay, I'm someone that I don't ever want to be someone who drinks or smokes to medicate. If other people do that, that's up to them, but that's not the thing I do, and I have to stay true to me. Okay, I don't want to be someone who's worrying, someone who's complaining, because that's not true to who I am. I am a man that lives by faith, literally. So I have to move forward in that way. Worry, doubt, anxiety, all these things, they don't support the lifestyle that I want to live. They don't subscribe to the way I choose to live my life. So I have to hold my standard. And it doesn't matter what standard the person to the left or the right is holding, I have to hold my own thing. And when you're going into times of uncertainty, you have to know what's your standard. You have to know who you are and who the things you're not able to compromise on. The things you're never gonna compromise on regardless. That's you. Okay. Another thing on my screen. Let me get this off. That's you. And that's you. And that ain't never gonna change. That ain't never gonna change. Like there's some people I know that feel uncomfortable if they have less than like £10,000 in their bank account. And for other people, they're happy that their standard is, if I got £100, I'm doing okay. But they're in different places in life, so it requires a different standard of finance. Do you know what I mean? So over here, you're saying, oh, I just went down to 9,999. I shouldn't be that low. Over here, you're saying, I just went down to 99. I shouldn't be that low. But as long as you know what your standard is and you're moving with your standard accordingly, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter what the other person's standard is. You hold true to yours. Okay. And in this place as well, guys are talking about football. I don't know anything about football, so I can't comment. Stay true to yours, okay? Know your standard. And it's important to say as well that each of us has some negative attributes that do not support the kind of life we want to live. Many of you in the chat wrote down different seeds that you planted in the mind, that is the soil that you want to grow, that you want to bring good fruits. And each of us has different attributes in our life that are not conducive to those seeds that we are planting, that don't provide good nourishment to them, that are preventing us from getting to a good place or the place as fast as we wanted to. Okay. And now it's important to remember who you are and remember that you can change if you want to. And I don't say that to say become something more negative. I say that to say become something more positive. Okay. Remember who you are and remember that you have the power to change you. If you are a complainer, if you are a warrior, you have the power to change that from today. Okay. And you have the power to change your standard. That's my first point. Remember who you are. Remember your standards. Let me give you one more illustration before we go on. I think it's crazy that it says on the live thing over there that I've been talking for 42 minutes, because I feel like I haven't even got half the pace that I wanted to get to. But let me give you another perfect example. Obviously, I said to you guys before, I'm a man of faith. If stuff's going wrong in my life, my defense mechanism is to lock myself in my bathroom and start to pray. Yeah, that's my defense mechanism. The other day, for the last like 2 weeks, I have not been having the time. Loads of you will know if you're in Wealth Nation. Well, I'm a trader anyway. Okay, I trade Forex mainly, foreign exchange. And for over the last 2 weeks, I've not been having a great time of trading and investing that I wanted to have. Okay, I've been trying to win a challenge where that gives me access to a very large account. And I passed the first stage. That's supposed to be the hard stage. And now I'm on the easy stage. And the easy stage is seeming harder than the hard stage. And over the last week it was anyway, not anymore. We good now. But over the last week and a half, I was having a horrible time in terms of trading. I'll be real. It's having some wins, of course, but so many losses, it was outshadowing all the wins. Okay. And I'll be honest, I was at the point where if I had lost one more trade, literally one more trade, I would have lost the challenge, failed the challenge. And all my hard work that I had worked for since the beginning of October really would have been taken away from me. I tried the challenge in October, messed it up slightly. So I started again in November, was all going well. And then it was nearly at the point where I've completed it. And then everything started to go crazy. So I had one more trade, or that's all I could make before the account was gone, before I lost the challenge, right? So what did I do? I did exactly what I said. I prayed. I prayed like my life depended on it. I told every single human being that I could think of that I knew cared about me and would pray to pray as well. Yeah. On the morning, yesterday morning, yeah, I said, God, listen, I've prayed, I've done my standard. I came to my computer, I took some deep breaths and prepared myself to trade. Okay. I had one trade left, but I believed with conviction that I knew that the trade was. I had conviction. I had one trade left, and I went with my convictions, even though, according to what the markets looked like, my convictions seemed wrong. I went with my convictions, and let me tell you something. As soon as I entered that trade, for those of you that are traders, I entered it for the market to drop. It immediately sank, and it sank for 4 whole hours. Yeah, and on that day, at the start of that point, I was one trade away from losing the account. At the end of that, I had recovered all of the loss, and it was as if the account reset itself and it was brand new again. Because that's my standard. That's why I share this example. Okay, that's my standard. I I'm not the type to go, woe is me. Okay, I'm one trade away. Let me just blow this account. This account's gone. I've lost. I have a certain standard. So I stick to my standard and I try to stay as level headed as possible and do what I know to do. Okay, that's my standard. Anyways, the second point then is once you remember who you are, but then it's also very important to remember who you're not. Okay. So we've remembered who we are. You've remembered your standard. Now remember who you're not. There are so many people in this world who have a completely different life to you. Okay. And it's very easy to go on social media and see somebody younger than you who's got more money than you. You know, you might be 25 and you can see a 13-year-old with a Lamborghini and think, wow, that means my whole life is wrong. Just because you see it on their social media page. It's very easy to go online and see someone in the same profession than you, and it just seems like they're doing better than you. Okay. It's very easy if you're in Wealth Nation to go in the trophy room sometimes and see loads of people sharing trophies and think that everybody else is doing it right and I'm doing it wrong. Okay. It's very easy to look at what the rest of the world is doing. And I'm trying to make this as simple and as practical for you as possible. Okay. It's very easy to remember what the rest of the world is doing and forget what you should be doing. I'm going to say it again. It's very easy to remember what the rest of the world is doing and then forget what you should be doing. And I want you guys to remember, stay in your own lane. It doesn't matter if that guy has is a millionaire or billionaire after 1 year of his business. Just because you are in year 3 doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It just means you have a completely different process. And remember, on social media, you can't see the work that goes in behind the scenes. You can't see the sleepless nights. You can't see tears. You can't see pain. You can't see any type of suffering. You can just see a guy sitting in front of a Lamborghini. You don't even know if that's his. You don't even know. But because you saw it on there, suddenly you feel like your life isn't in a good place. Comparison can't be something we carry forward with us from now into the years going forward. You know, as I said, so many things were unpredictable this year. Some of us lost family members and we just didn't expect them to go. Some of us lost jobs and we didn't expect that. It was sudden, it was out of the blue. Okay. And if you're always looking at somebody else's life, you know, it can make you feel like you are in a terrible place. But you have to focus. You have to focus on what's yours and not what's another person's. That's the only way you're going to excel. That's the only way you're going to progress. When I was feeling completely broken in that room, okay, I was up till 2, 3, 4 a.m. every single night. Even though I wasn't allowed to talk, I was whispering until people were knocking on the door or the window or the wall to tell me to stop. I was whispering, trying my best to communicate with some of my team, my business partners, and make money because I needed to get myself out of that place. I didn't have time to focus on what everyone else was doing. I didn't even have time to go to people's birthday parties at that time. I had to tell them, listen, at this period of my life, I'm very focused on what I'm doing right now. And I had to say no to some birthday parties and some engagements because I really felt like I needed to get out of where I was in life right now, like yesterday, if I could. And I wasn't willing to do anything else apart from get out of my situation. I had to focus on me. I had to focus on me and what I was doing. Okay. That's number two. But, nowadays, I'm definitely open to going to people's birthday parties. Just throwing it out there. You can send me an invite. I'm not going to reject you. If we're cool, send me an invite. You know what I'm saying? Especially you, Ore, send me an invite. Cool. I don't even know when your birthday is, Ore, but send me an invite. So the third one now, you've remembered who you are. Remember who you are. So we already talked about gratitude. Now, we talked about remembering who you are, remembering your standards, even if that means you have to go in the mirror in the morning and talk to yourself and tell yourself who you are, because your mind might want to forget. You got to keep it on the forefront of your mind at all times. There's been several times I go in the mirror and I say, listen, Sterling, you are an incredible trader, an incredible businessman. You're wise. You're handsome. You're this, you're that. Today is your day. I tell myself who I am. I remind myself of my standards because my mind might see someone over there and think that's a new standard that I should have. But it's me that determines the standard that I set for myself. Then you remember who you're not, okay? Forget the comparison. The only competition is you, okay? When you look in the mirror, that's the real competition. That's the real person you're against every single day, to be a better you than you were yesterday. Okay, the other people just exist. They're living their life. You and the person in the mirror are the only people who are in competition. Okay, that's it. And the goal is every day is to be a better version of you. That's the goal. That's the goal. And as long as you focus on that goal, you'll realize you'll be miles ahead of other people because they'll be looking at you. They'll be looking at you. All right, last point. Okay, I'm running out of time. I barely, Haley, you're funny. I'm running out of time, but I've hardly even shared any points. Okay, but I hope you hear my heart on this stuff. Okay, number 3, remember your wins and celebrate your wins. This is a time where you're gonna have to take the wins you get, and you're gonna have to, if you're someone who pins them on your wall, pin them on your wall. If you make them your screensaver on your phone, do that. Find a way where you can remind yourself of your wins as much as you can. Okay? Why? Because if 2021 is anything like 2020, or even more unpredictable or uncertain than this year has been, then all of a sudden, one day you might have a victory yesterday, and today could feel like a defeat. But if you focus on today's defeat and forget that yesterday was incredible, then what's gonna happen? Your standards begin to drop. You feel like there's no hope, but really yesterday was a win. It's just today wasn't what you expected. So be someone who's very intentional about writing your wins out. I'm going to be telling the people the story of my trading experience yesterday morning for as long as I can. And I'm going to keep moving forward, remembering that is the potential that I can have. Remembering that if that happened to me once, that can happen to me again. And that's going to be how I move forward in life. Okay? Those kind of trading days, those kind of business days. No, that's going to be how I move forward in life. Right. Yes. So remember to celebrate your wins. Get something, stick it on the wall. Know what I mean? Stick it on the wall. If you've you got a business and you hit your first milestone, get a little thing, get a little plaque, stick it on the wall. Find a way you can celebrate your wins, because you're going to need to keep them. They are your encouragement. They are your reminders of what of what life will be like and what life will continue to be like and what life should be like. So celebrate your wins, okay? Many of us, okay, we have a win. We might celebrate it for a moment, but we don't carry it over into the future of our life. You know, I was someone who would play down my wins a lot. I'm not that used to celebrating wins. I would play them down. I would say, yeah, that's cool. My mind would already be focused on, my mind wouldn't even be grateful for the win, and it would be focused on another thing, another area I feel like I'm losing. And this goes back to gratitude, okay, in the same sense. Be grateful for the good things that are going on in your life, okay? Remember your wins. I've had to be someone that's cultivating this thing, and I'm going to continue to cultivate and to celebrate my own personal wins, okay? Many of you have shared some stuff in the chat about seeds you want in your garden, different seeds you want. Oh yeah, there's a story I forgot to tell, and I have to make sure I tell it because I thought it was funny. On the point of remembering who you're not, I've got notes and I haven't even looked at my notes. It's ridiculous. What did I write notes for? Remembering who you're not. There's a few different amazing stories my girlfriend has. She has loads of stories, but this one in particular I thought was funny and I thought to share with you. So she's a public speaker and she does all these calls with these big corporations, Microsoft and this and that one and that one and that one and that one. All these big corporations, you name it, she's probably worked with them, okay? And now it's funny because she used to be speaking in public to all of them, but now she's at home and she's on Zoom. And, you know, she's speaking to them and she is telling me, you know, and she tells her clients this as well, you know, just because you can see the nice blouse or the nice shirt, on the camera, doesn't mean that I'm not wearing basketball shorts at the same time, you know, doesn't mean you just can't see it. You just can't see the basketball shorts. You know, you can see that, okay, right now I'm not wearing basketball shorts. I'm just telling the story. I'm actually wearing jeans. Okay, I'm actually wearing great jeans, but that's absolutely fine. I'm not wearing basketball shorts. But it's just to put in perspective. You can see only what's in the screen. You can see what's here. I could be wearing whatever I wanted below and you can't see it. And this for me puts life into perspective. You can see what somebody else puts out, okay? You guys might have seen my winning trades in the trophy room, but you may not have necessarily known that those winning trades was me recovering losses from the other trades that I lost. You know what I mean? You can only see this much. There's so much more in this room. You know, I've left my coat over there. I've left stuff out around. Do you know what I mean? You can't see that. You can see this nice little shot that I've set up for you to see, but you can't see the rest of the room. And that is life. That is life. Okay? That is life. You only get to see a part of a person. You only get to see the bits that they show you. So yeah, never be deceived, okay? Whatever you see on social media is never the full picture, okay? Never the full picture. Whether it looks amazing, it's never the full picture. Cool. Remember who you are. Remember who you're not. Remember to celebrate your wins. Remember to be grateful, okay? These are different. I'm very conscious of time. I can see the time up there. It says I got less than a minute and 20 seconds until, it's actually past 9 already, but it's okay. A minute and 20 seconds till we hit an hour. So I'm just going to kind of wrap up and maybe we can do a part 2 sometime because this was kind of fun. And I'm actually surprised I've been talking for an hour. But anyways, this is the type of stuff you need to nourish your mind with. You know, I haven't even got into the mentors and stuff like that. This is just the very, very basic stuff, the very fundamental stuff that regardless of whether you have a mentor or not, you can take these principles and you can produce success in your life. You know, if you genuinely focus on something, focus on a type of profession, let's say you want to be a basketball player and you focus on instead of focusing on you know, somebody else's 3-point shots, you just focus on scoring more 3-point shots every day than you did the previous day. Eventually, you are going to be one of the best 3-point shooters that exists because you're battling with yourself. Okay. Oh man, I just wish I had more time. I just wish I had more time, but I'm going to stick to my commitments, people. I'm going to stick to my commitments. Let me just look at my shorts and not my shorts. I was thinking of the basketball shorts. No, let me just look at my notes and just make sure I've shared everything I wanted to share. Yes. I think I'm going to end with a story. There was one thing I missed, which was a story that I wanted to share, which is going back to the point of remembering your standards. Now, I've had many highs and lows in terms of trading. Many incredible highs, some lows, and every low has taught me a beautiful lesson, which means that my highs go even higher. There's something that I always told. I feel like I'm going to mention my girlfriend again, but she's a speaker. She gives me all these cool lines. You know what I'm saying? Follow her on Instagram, Haley Melinda. Anyways, your setback is a setup for your comeback. And what do I mean by this? Let me say it again. Your setback is a setup for your comeback. So every time I go through a low, I imagine this picture. I imagine myself in a slingshot. Sounds weird, but I imagine myself in a slingshot. And I imagine that if I want to go forward and I want to go over there, at first, I need to be pulled back. And the further that I'm pulled back means the more power and the further that I'll go when they let go, when I'm set off. Okay. I want to tell you this story of a time in my life when trading was not looking the way that I wanted it to look. I was investing money for someone and I was losing trades. Okay. I did not have the good this was back in the beginning. I did not have as good discipline as I do now. Thank God I've developed discipline. And I was losing money. And it wasn't even my money. If it was my money, I could take it. Even though I didn't have much, if it was mine, I could take it. It was somebody else's money. There was someone that trusted me. And this goes back to what I was talking about, knowing yourself and knowing your standards. And I started to move a bit shady with them because I was ashamed and felt guilty that I had lost their money. So they would ask, Sterling, how's the investments going? And I would just say, I have 1,500 for you, or I have 2,000 for you. So they would assume that I was in profit because their first investment they gave me was 1,000. So they would assume I was in profit, but really I was thinking in my head, let me word it that way so that they think I'm doing well, and really I'll just go and find money from somewhere else so that I can clear the losses. And I was moving shady. I started to move weird because I started to drop my standards because life was not looking the way I wanted it to look. And one day I sat down. I really actually sat down to myself, and I'm going to be honest again. I sat down. Pretty much whenever I sit down and think, I think and pray at the same time. That's what I do. I'm one of those old grandma types that's just prays all the time in the corner. I'm that kind of guy. I really am. It keeps me sane. But I sat down at the table and I had this deep, deep sense that if I ever want to be somewhere in life, if I ever want to progress in life, I have to tell the truth. And that only the clean-hearted win. I had a deep knowing, and I knew that, some people's standard of business is manipulation and is deceit. But that's not my standard of business. So if that's your standard, you do you, and you reap the harvest that comes with those seeds. But that's not my thing. So I have to hold true to my standard. I messaged the guy and I said, I'm so sorry. I've lost your money. I've lost your money. And I'll be honest, he aired me. He aired me. He completely aired me. Like I said, I messaged him, I'm so sorry. I'll see what I can do to get money back to you. He just aired me. And then it was about 2 or 3 weeks later, I had to go somewhere and he was going to be there because he was playing guitar for this various event or whatever. So I go there and I see him and he's like, hey, Sterling, how you doing? And now bear in mind, before I see him, I'm hiding in the corner knowing he's going to come. And I'm saying to myself, I can't go down there. I can't look at him because he's going to kill me. I've lost his money. Like, I'm panicking. I'm absolutely panicking, completely panicking, thinking my life is over. Yeah. For us old people, who is this airing? Oh, sorry. Oh, he wasn't replying to me. Airing is slang for ignoring or not replying or various things like that. Sorry for all the older cats out there. My apologies. My apologies. So sorry. So sorry. So he was ignoring me. So I go to this place now, and I'm like, I forced myself out the room. I forced myself to go and say hi to him. And I had to help him bring a piano upstairs. So I'm carrying this piano with him, and I'm like, by the way, did you get my text? And he's like, oh yeah, I got your text. Don't worry about it. It's completely fine. We should meet up at some point just to make sure you're doing all good. I said, what? I said, huh? He just pardoned me like that. So the whole time I was ducking and diving. I was stressing in my house. I was, feeling like I was going to get depressed and getting headaches and all these types of things because life wasn't going the way I wanted it to go, and I couldn't fess up to the truth. I couldn't be vulnerable. I couldn't be honest. This guy just pardoned me. Obviously, he got a big bank account. Maybe just didn't care. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I don't know why he pardoned me. I just pray to God, mate. I really do. But he pardoned me. And I realized in that moment, the clean-hearted, they always win. They always win. And that's a standard that I hold for my life, okay? That's a standard that I hold for business. That's a standard that I hold in everything I do. I'm going to hold my integrity. That's me. If you know me, I'm going to be real with you. Okay, that's me. And that was a moment where things were getting hard and I almost compromised who I was. But I found that holding to my standards was the thing on the slingshot that allowed me to be released so that I could begin to fly forward. And as soon as I told the truth, everything in life began to turn into my favor, begin to go in my direction, okay? As soon as I held to my standards, as soon as I didn't allow life to make me compromise, everything in life, it's like it turned to go in my favor and everything started to go on the up. And that's my encouragement to all of you today. Majority of you here are probably in business of some kind, whether you're in Wealth Nation or you're in other business, I don't know, okay? But hold to your standards. Remember who you are, okay? And remember who you're not. Remember your wins. Remember your victories. Put them on the forefront of your mind because you're going to need them through the hard times. Be an extremely grateful person and don't let the negative ones let you catch that virus. Change the virus, spread the positive stuff. Let them catch that instead of letting you catch the negativity. But I have gone over time. I appreciate you all for being here. I didn't know I could talk for this long. I genuinely didn't. I don't know where the hour's gone. But I appreciate you all, honestly, for being on here. And I believe that this is something you can come back to when you need it. You're going to have moments like me where that wine was looking very appealing. It might be something else for you. But come back to this video. Remember this video. Okay? Keep playing it because you're going to need it. So thank you all for being here. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Follow me on Instagram @Sterling Record. Subscribe to Wealth Nation YouTube channel. See you all soon.